Hey guys, welcome back to Greybuilt Racing. Alright, so for this video, we're going to be doing a quick little review and installation on the EC Carburetors Billet side cover. And as you can tell, it's a beautiful piece. And it has a bearing also for the camshaft, which is pretty cool. That's actually the #1 reason why I got this side cover, not only because of the billet, but because of the camshaft bearing, which is really cool. The ARC one does not come with the bearing, but it does come with the crankshaft bearing, 2 of them. So dual bearing, which is really good for the crank as well. All right, so let's go ahead and start off with installing the O-ring. Get this beautiful O-ring that we're gonna go ahead and install around the perimeter right here, and there's a groove that is beautifully carved out, and we're gonna go ahead and I like to start at the very top right here of the side cover. So we're gonna go ahead and first we're gonna use our fingers, or our thumbs actually, to press it in. So at the very top, in between these 2 holes right here, gonna go ahead and start right there, and we're just gonna go ahead and it's pretty simple, it's not too hard. We're gonna go ahead and just press it in nice and evenly. We're gonna work around these little round areas all the way around like that. All right, not too hard. I mean, I'm sorry, yeah, well, it's not too hard, not too difficult. Just like that. All right, and so as you can see, I already went ahead and pre-installed it and cut the excess. But what you're gonna want to do is, when you do have that excess, you're gonna want to cut a little longer than the first starting point. That way you have a little bit of room just in case you make a mistake, a little extra just in case you make a mistake. And we're gonna go ahead and use a razor blade, one of these right here, and you can pull it up and then just cut it, or even better, some scissors. Okay, I'm gonna snip it off, and we're gonna want to cut little by little until we're able to get it buttered up against the first the beginning of the O-ring. And when you cut it, you're gonna want it straight to look like this. Okay, you don't want it like this or like that. No, you're gonna want it pretty straight. All right. And the next step is you're gonna want to grab a socket, and then just kind of roll it all along the edge, just like that. And this is just gonna help with it being even, without having any high or low spots. Just like that. Just roll it. Just like that. Don't slide it, but roll it. All right. One more time with your finger. And with your finger, you're really going to be able to feel any kind of high or low spots. Okay. All right. Next, just go ahead and get crouch down low, or get the side cover at eye level and inspect it really quickly to see if there's any kind of high spots, any kind of bumps, anything that's going to cause it to leak. Okay, and this side cover doesn't come with the paper gasket, it only comes with this O-ring. Okay, yeah, it looks pretty good, guys. Next, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to oil this up right here for the bearings. Let's put a little bit in there. You're going to want to use the oil that you're going to use for your engine. I'm using a 10W30, which is pretty much what they recommend, or what the manufacturers recommend. Okay, so I got this old camshaft, just some old busted up one that I have, and let's see how it fits into the camshaft bearing on the side cover. All right, it has a nice tight fit on there. Not bad. Okay, I like that. Not too bad. Barely any play. Maybe a tiny bit. Not too bad. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and install our side cover on our Tillotson, our 225cc block. Okay, one more crucial step before we move forward to the next step, and that's going to be to install the oil bearing seal. It's going to be a little bit difficult, but not too complicated. You're going to want to go ahead and press it in as much as possible with your fingers. You're going to want to use something that's going to help you press it down so that it's flush with the deck, or the surface, I should say. Sometimes I use a hammer along with this piece of equipment. You're going to want to find something that's the same diameter as the seal. Nothing smaller, because if you do, it's going to damage the seal, because in the middle it's a little bit weaker. Okay, so this is what it looks like so far. It is sticking up a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and press it down a little bit further. There's a stop underneath, so that's as far as it should go. Okay, now that we got everything installed inside our crankcase and everything oiled up, like I said, I'm using 10W30 oil, and let's go ahead and slap it on here. Oh yeah, it also comes with these two, I forgot what the name of them were, but yeah. All right. Oh, the dowel pins, yeah. We're gonna go ahead and line it up with their dowel pins, make sure everything's good. And what I like to do is I like to grab something, for example, this right here, or even like a flathead or something. We're gonna put it on the side right here to kind of guide the cam into the bearing. Okay, there we go. And we're just gonna go ahead and press it, rock back and forth, up and down. All right, make sure it's all evenly lined up with your block. And now, time to bolt it in. So, this side cover came with 8M, I believe, 33 Allen bolts. But the only issue that I had with this is that on some of the holes, it was a little bit too long. So I went ahead and bought some 8M30, I believe, millimeter long bolts to fit. Well, it was 8M30. That's what it said. So yeah, that way, you know. And I also used the washers that the bolts came with, I mean the side cover came with, to just add a little bit of extra space before I bottom out. So for the side cover, we're gonna want to go ahead and torque it down to 200 inch-pounds. First, we're gonna start with 50 inch-pounds just to make sure it's all even. We have a good starting point. And I'm gonna start at the upper left and then go down to the lower right. From there, I'm gonna go to the upper right, down to the bottom left, all the way across to the right, and then all finish up at the left. Just a little bit closer. Okay, and we're gonna go in increments of 20. All right, so this is 200 inch-pounds. Last round. All right, that's gonna be it right there. So as far as the play on your crankshaft, I spoke with the one of the representatives over at EC Carburetors, and he told me that you're gonna want anywhere between 8 thousandths to 12 thousandths of an inch of play. And I've also spoke with other individuals, and they said that the O-ring suffices, and I'm used to the ARC side cover that comes with shims, O-ring, and a paper gasket. And when you install the side cover by itself, it's going to have a lot of play, so that's why they give you the shims. So I spoke with some individuals. They say that they like having no play at all. Some like a little bit of play. But one thing that really stood out to me was when the representative of EC said that I could have anywhere from 8 to 12 thousandths play, but that having no play is better than having a lot of play. All right, guys. So like I said earlier, I did reach out to EC Carburetors, and they sent me an email with a bunch of cool information. And it says, the version 3 of the billet side cover for the EC Carburetors has undergone several improvements. The oil fill hole have been moved back to avoid interference with the onboard starter on electric start engines. 2 oil fill holes have been added to accommodate a wider range of applications. The front oil cap now includes a dipstick for checking oil levels. The side cover now includes a pressure control valve, PCV, that was originally designed for flathead karting racing engines. The PCV is located at the highest point of the engine, either at the top of the crankcase or valve cover. It allows crankcase pressure to escape while preventing barometric pressure from entering the crankcase. This helps create a slight negative pressure in the crankcase, which can improve ring seal. The PCV should be routed to a catch can to collect any oil that is expelled, and the catch can should be vented to the atmosphere. The side cover also features a pulse fitting, which can be used in 2 ways. If a fuel pump is being used without a pulse fitting on the intake, the pulse can be taken from the crankcase. If the intake pulse fitting is being used, the pulse on the side cover can be routed to the valve cover. The pulse fittings help equalize pressure between the valve cover and crankcase. In some cases, the oil hole on the side cover may be blocked off, requiring a fitting from the crankcase to the valve cover to provide oil to the top end. The billet side cover utilizes a bearing for the cam journal, which is more durable and serviceable than a bushing. The crank bearing is the same as the standard all-metal Predator or clone bearing, making it easier to replace if needed. There is also an option to upgrade to a durable double roller bearing. The bearings extend above the aluminum cover to close the distance between the crank gear and cam gear, preventing them from touching the aluminum and stabilizing the position of the crank and cam. It is recommended to maintain a crankshaft end play of 12 thousandths or less, with about 8 thousandths being ideal. Less end play is acceptable as long as the crank does not bind. Excessive end play can cause the crank to move too much, potentially misaligning and binding the rod. The billet side cover is designed with a tighter tolerance for a consistent fit, reducing the need for crank shims. So guys, I hope you got some useful information out of that, and that explains a lot of things about this side cover and why they did what they did. So I'll be personally using this billet side cover for my own engine, and I'll report back to you about its performance in future videos. I'm excited to see how it enhances the overall performance of my engine. I'm usually using the ARC one, so this is something a little bit different for me. If you're a manufacturer of performance parts and would like me to review and test products, feel free to reach out to me via email on my YouTube account. I would be more than happy to collaborate and share my experience with my audience. Also guys, remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel, like the videos, share them with fellow enthusiasts. Also, go ahead and leave some comments as well. Any questions you guys got, go ahead and put them right there. Your support is greatly appreciated. Alright, thank you guys once again, and I'll see you guys in the next videos.